right, Public Act 100-0640 amends the Open Meetings Act to expressly authorize public bodies to meet remotely in certain circumstances without the otherwise required quorum present at the meeting place. This law requires that the head of the public body determine that an in-person meeting is not practical or prudent because of a disaster. So Andrew Smith, as the meeting chair, will make that determination after the meeting is called to order. At least one member of the public body or the chief administrative officer or the chief legal officer must be physically present at the meeting place unless it is not feasible because of the disaster. And so I'm here at the library this evening. We should do a roll call vote after the meeting is called to order, and all votes will be by roll call. As with all open meetings, we provide space for public comments in accordance with the law. For the purposes of this virtual meeting, we've asked for the public to submit their comments via email or voice message, and I'll read them aloud at the appropriate time. This meeting will be recorded and will be available in the library's website for 30 days and archived in our administrative offices thereafter. All yours, Andrew.
All right, thank you. I'd like to call this meeting of the Aurora Public Library Board of Public Library District Board of Directors to order at 6:02 p.m. on September 23rd, 2020. As the chair of the board of directors, I find that an in-person meeting is not practical or prudent at this time because of the ongoing public health emergency, and believe it is in the library's best interest to hold a virtual meeting to perform our essential business. Melinda, please call the roll.
Dee Basili.
Present.
Jeff Butler.
Here.
Joe Philippette.
Here.
Melinda Riddick here. John Savage.
Here.
Eva Serrano.
Here.
Andrew Smith.
Here. Thank you. At this time, are there any changes to our agenda?
Yes, we can remove the Kane County resolution and IGA in the new business. We can consider that next time.
Okay. All right. Are there any changes to the minutes of the public hearing for August 26th, 2020? If no changes are necessary, I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the August 26th, 2020 public hearing.
So moved.
This is Joe. I'll second.
Thank you. Melinda, please call the roll.
Dee Basili.
Yes.
Jeff Butler.
Yes.
Joe Philippette.
Yes.
Melinda Riddick, yes. John Savage.
Yes.
Eva Serrano.
Yes.
Andrew Smith.
Yes, thank you. Moving along, are there any changes to the minutes of the August 26, 2020 Board of Directors meeting? There being no changes, may I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the August 26, 2020 meeting of the Board of Directors?
So moved. Dee Basili.
Second, this is Eva.
Thank you. Melinda, please call the roll.
Dee Basili.
Yes.
Jeff Butler.
Yes.
Joe Philippette.
Yes.
Melinda Riddick. Yes. John Savage.
Yes.
Eva Serrano.
Yes.
Andrew Smith.
Yes. All right. Next on the agenda is the director's report. Michaela.
All right. I'd like to report that the library had our annual staff development day on Friday, September 18th. It was a virtual all-staff day with a focus on equity, diversity, and inclusion. Dr. Vince Gaddis was our keynote speaker. We gave our annual Excellence in Customer Service Award, the Ruth Mary Wood Award, named after a famously customer-focused staffer who is now retired. We gave this award to Christine Kuntz and Celia Hurd. We normally only have one winner, but both of these staffers went above and beyond to serve our community in this extraordinary year. We're really proud to have them on staff and happy to be able to celebrate them with this award. So you might remember from earlier board meetings, Christine Kuntz was the one that sent over 220 personal notes to her customers in the outreach department, and followed up after we reopened with little care packages and notes and calls while we were in the phase where we could not visit. And Celia Hurd is a children's department staff member who taught herself to use the technology so that she could do virtual interactive story times with kids. She did interactive story times where she could not see her audience. So, and she's been very consistent and prolific storyteller ever since, with big audiences for our kids. So they both did amazing things, and we give them an award and usually a humongous round of applause and some cake, but this time just Zoom clapping. In other news, our Sunday hours began on September 13th, 1 to 5 at all locations. We were really happy to be able to expand our services a little bit. On that note, we are experimenting with making more computer workstations available for walk-in customers in response to the way people are actually using us. And we're working on study room and study table availability, and we'll have more information on that for you guys really soon. We are, as you know, constantly working on the right balance of service and safety. As case counts continue to moderate in Aurora, we're looking to provide more in-person services, and we're keeping a really close eye on those numbers as the weather changes, just like everybody else is. Laura Stoney from the foundation asked me to remind you all about their virtual fun run, which is October 9th through the 17th. She's going to send you all a reminder. She asked me to thank all of you who have already signed up or sponsoring. Thank you very much. And that is my report for this evening. Does anybody have any questions for me or anybody else on the exec team who's here tonight?
Yeah, Michaela, I have a question. Have the school districts reached out to the library to maybe help provide Wi-Fi access? I know I've seen that some students don't have it, and so it's hard for them to do the e-learning. So I'm just wondering if the school districts that we connect with have reached out to the library for assistance in that area.
We have been talking especially to District 131 about that. You probably know, we've got a pretty large collection of hotspots and Chromebooks that we do check out, and most of those are already checked out. We're working with them to see what else we can do. One of the things that we're interested in doing is providing wireless access from our parking lots. You've probably seen stories in the news of people in community college going and taking their class in the parking lot, and so we're looking at doing that too. There was a collaboration with the city that Jonathan Hauser was working on, and I'll have to ask him for a status update on that. The city was also working to expand access for the students.
And I'll just mention one other thing. It's not related to Wi-Fi, but our Children's Services Senior Manager and our School Services Liaison are partnering with District 131 for a Back to Reading Illinois State Library grant, which would help put ebooks in the hands of those 131 students. So we're hopeful for that grant too.
Well, I have a question and a comment. Just to piggyback on that, when you say 131, District 131, I think of a majority Latinx school district. I think it's almost 80%, 85%. I don't know what percentage off the top of my head is Spanish speaking, but a very diverse school district. So I hope that any grants that talk about providing ebooks to a community that's so diverse, especially for the Latino community, to include partnerships with parents. And I know we know that already, the importance of incorporating that into the grant, and maybe you're already looking at that. But, not only putting ebooks in the hands of kids, but especially for our Latino families, somehow incorporating their participation in some way.
That's a great suggestion. Thank you.
Something to think about. But addressing, Michaela, you made a very important point about looking to add more workstations in the library. Did I hear that correctly? And then I guess, what do you base that on? Are you keeping a wait list of people that want to use, workstations?
Computer workstations?
Yes.
So what we're noticing, we require reservations, but we reserve a few computers for walk-up. And what we've noticed at a couple of our locations is that we have more walk-ups than we have reservations. Not at all locations, but a couple of locations. And so we're just rebalancing there. And so, having more stations available for walk-ups and fewer for reservations.
Thank you.
Sure.
Michaela, would you mind saying a few, or I guess anybody, executive team that was involved with the webinar that was held for prospective trustees? I know it was more than just Aurora, and also the website that was set up, but both for existing board members and anybody else that maybe is in this meeting that is interested.
I'll just say a couple of things. So our events manager, Krista Danis, worked with the Gail Borden Library in Elgin to sponsor a workshop about basically how to be elected as a library trustee. And so we had about 25 people. It was a webinar like this. We had about 25 people in attendance. We had a couple of trustees from the Gail Borden, one from Gail Borden and one from the Oswego Public Library District, speak about their experience. And the League of Women Voters sort of walked the people in attendance through the process of becoming a library trustee. There is a portion of our website that has all that information available. I think you all know that I would like each and every one of you to run and be elected as library trustee. But we know that, I know that not all of you want to do that. So we provided that information so that those who were interested would have easy access to it. And the webinar was recorded and it's also available on our website. If you couldn't be there at the time, you want to watch it later, or if you have friends and neighbors who are interested.
Yeah, it was a nice event, and I think that the website that we set up, that gives dates and resources is, because there is, it is a bit involved. It's very helpful. So kudos to all the staff involved with getting that set up.
Thanks, Joe. We'll pass that on.
So piggybacking on that, has there been any update in regards to the was it qualifications? When the lawyer was with us a few months back, he had shared the qualifications, but then again, with the pandemic that we're in right now, he didn't know if those would still go forth or there would be some amendment.
Right. There's been no amendment to the signature collecting requirement. So the first day to collect signatures was yesterday. And so apparently we're still doing this the way we always have, where you take your sheets and you talk to your friends and neighbors or look around outside the grocery store or what have you. So no change to that. And not just for library districts, for all elected officials, everybody has to do it.
So to get those sheets, I forgot, did you send us the link for them?
I don't know if I did, but I'd be happy to do that.
I don't think so.
I will. I'll send you guys the link.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right. There being no other questions for Michaela. John, I think you're up to talk about the finance committee that met recently.
Yeah, you have the agenda up there? Michaela, can you pull that up?
Oh, for the finance committee?
Yeah.
I don't have it handy. The two things that we talked about though were the levy estimate and the banking relationship.
Right. First and foremost, the finance committee met and we had a discussion about establishing a banking relationship with Old Second Bank. Now that we are an independent district, we are going to need support of numerous different banking functions. I know that Michaela and Kathy and Others, met with Old Second and felt very comfortable. Maybe Michaela, you want to give a kind of just a brief overview of some of the different services that would be provided by Old Second?
Sure. We met with Joanna Zanayed. She's a senior vice president there for government operations, and she was really happy to talk to us about meeting our needs. One of the things we were really excited about was online banking and electronic transactions, so that we can start moving away from a paper-based system in-house. On the customer side, they offer a customer payment portal that will allow people to make payments, credit card payments, and so that was really exciting too. And then they have great fraud protections and security compliance. I mean, these things are all what you expect, from a bank, but we've been very satisfied with the service that they provided us over the years, and so we'd like to continue that relationship.
Perfect. And second, we had a discussion regarding the levy. Again, as a new district, we need to establish a base levy going forward. Michaela, you want to kind of give a little background?
Sure. So today we have before you guys, it's a levy estimate. It's a resolution that determines an estimate of funds that we're going to need to operate for this fiscal year. And so this is like a supporting document for the levy ordinance that we will bring to you next month. So the resolution is sort of an internal document that serves as a reminder for us and for the public that we will comply with the truth in taxation laws. If this levy estimate was more than 5% higher than our previous levy, then we would have to hold a truth in taxation hearing. So we're not going to do that. We're going to ask for the same amount that's in our final order of judgment, that $14.7 million. And so Roger explains it this way. He says, technically, it is the county clerk's tax extension based on the levy we will be filing this year, which forms our tax extension base for future revenues and limits on future revenues, according to the property tax extension limitation law. So that's what this resolution is that you guys have today.
And both Roger obviously gave us support on this, but also we asked Jamie, our financial advisor, also to review the levy calculations and make sure that we're doing the appropriate base levy. As I said, this will be our first official levy as a district, and going forward, we'll be having to go through this process every year about this time.
Right.
That's all I got.
Yep.
All right.
So then we'll just ask you at the appropriate time to discuss and approve those two items.
Yep. All right. Next is the public comments. Michaela, do you have any public comments?
We do have one public comment. Just a thank you for the piece on the library webpage about voting. All the links that I need are in one place. I'll say too, this has a lot of exclamation points. I don't have to hunt all over the internet for information. It is so organized. I can find whatever information I need, dates, candidates, and most important, fact checking. The library is doing its part to educate voters, and once again, the library comes through for the citizens of Aurora. Thank you again, Louise Van Andel. And I'll just add that our staff members, Colleen Cullen and Miriam Meza, are responsible for this page. And so thank you.
Thank you.
Miriam Meza Gatto, sorry.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. All right. Moving on to new business regarding the August/September bills. Are there any questions on the bills?
Yes, we had 4 questions on the bills this period. The first one was a payment to Foster & Foster in the amount of $1,500. This is for the actuarial portion of our annual audit. It covers actuarial information regarding other post-employment benefits for our retirees. The second question, there was a payment made to Michaela in the amount of $1,430. And this was for our staff development day lunches. Because it was a virtual staff day, we typically provide lunch for our staff. And so we gave each staff member $10 to purchase lunch wherever they wanted to on that day. The third question was a payment to Liberty Mutual, our insurance carrier, in the amount of $110. And it was for an increase in the premium for our fine arts policy. Actually in December and in January, we had an appraiser come in and appraise 14 different pieces of fine art that we have in the library. And so we provided those appraised values to our carrier, and this was the result of an increase in our policy coverage and premium. The last question was a payment to Aurora Sign Company in the amount of $3,215.50. This is a 50% down payment for replacing the LED burned out bulbs in our light fixture on the east and west side of Santori. It's the Richard and Gina Santori Public Library of Aurora sign. The way the light was designed, it can't be serviced while it's on the building. It has to be taken down and put into a temperature controlled room. The lights are epoxied in there. The way the lighting specialist described it to me, they're daisy chained together, and this is the only way that they can replace the bulbs, and then they'll remount those signs to the building. They will be doing that work in the next couple of weeks. And they'll do one sign at a time, and the sign will be down for a period of about 3 days.
Kathy, is that going to be ongoing maintenance? So 5 years from now, we're going to have to do it again?
We have had to do it every year.
Okay.
Typically, different type of lighted signs would be serviced every 2 years, but we've had to do it every year.
Okay. I haven't noticed it before, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Kathy, for answering that questions. All right. May I have a motion and a second to approve the monthly bills in the amount of $823,647.46?
Motion to approve?
I'll second that, Dee Basili.
Thank you. All right, Melinda, please call the roll.
Dee Basili,
Yes.
Jeff Butler,
Yes.
Joe Philippek,
Yes.
Melinda Riddick, yes. John Savage,
Yes.
Eva Serrano,
Yes.
Andrew Smith.
Yes. All right. I know we did talk about this. John and Michaela just discussed these kind of two issues: a resolution to determine estimate of funds needed and resolution confirming banking relationship. Michaela, do you just want to spend maybe a minute on each one before we vote on them?
Okay, sure. So the resolution to determine estimate of funds needed is the baseline for our levy ordinance that we will pass next month. And so it just, it lays out our intent to comply with the truth in taxation law. And it basically says that we are going to ask for a levy of $14.7 million, the same that's in our written order of judgment.
All right, so this would be resolution number 2020-2. All right, unless there are any questions regarding that, I would ask for a motion and a second that the board approves the resolution to determine estimate of funds needed.
Motion
suppose. Okay. Who? I'll second.
All right, thank you both. If we could go ahead and call the roll on that resolution.
Dee Basili,
Yes.
Jeff Butler,
Yes.
Joe Philippek,
Yes.
Melinda Riddick. Yes. John Savage,
Yes.
Eva Serrano,
Yes.
Andrew Smith.
Yes. All right, moving on to resolution 2020-1. This is a resolution confirming the intent to establish a banking relationship with the Old Second National Bank. I think you had covered that pretty well, Melinda and John. I'm sorry, Michaela and John. I think we can go ahead and proceed. May I have a motion and a second to approve the resolution confirming banking relationship?
I just have one question. Were any other bank institutions considered like Fifth Third or PNC, West Suburban?
We did not. We have a pre-existing relationship with Old Second. We have a lot on our plate right now. For us to change that relationship, we would have to go out to RFP. And that's not to say that we can't do that in a year or two. We can do that anytime, but it seemed like right now we have a lot going on, and so it seemed like the cleanest thing to do at this point.
So I have a question about the resolution, and I'm not familiar with the legalese, so I defer to those who know more about that than I do. But does this resolution mean that it'll last forever ad infinitum? No, okay.
No, it simply establishes the relationship for now. The bank needs this from you for us to open an account there, basically, on our own dime. I'm the signer, but you all are the decision makers. So that's why we need this resolution.
Mm-hmm.
This is typical for KYC, know your customer requirements for any bank to establish a banking relationship with an entity like ourselves.
All right, can I have a motion and a second?
Motion to approve?
Joe, I'll second.
Thank you. Melinda, please call the roll.
Dee Basile,
Yes.
Jeff Butler,
Yes.
Joe Philippek,
Yes.
Melinda Riddick. Yes. John Savage,
Yes.
Eva Serrano,
Yes.
Andrew Smith.
Yes. Thank you very much. Michaela, you did say we're going to move past this next item.
Right.
All right, if you would provide us with a revenue update.
Sure, I'm going to share my screen here. Jamie Racklin prepared this for us with the information that Kathy provided about our receipts to September 22nd from our different counties. So you can see that we have received some payments in September as expected. Can you guys see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. So you'll see that for Kane County, we're at 88% of collections for this revenue cycle. DuPage 95, Will at 61, and Kendall at 58, for a total of about 88%. And now we expect more payments as the month goes on and into October. Kathy, do you want to say, or can you say a little bit about whether this is typical for this time of the month in September?
I think this is pretty typical. We look to be ahead actually compared to last year. Will and Kendall County, we do receive real estate revenue later in the month, so we still don't show a significant amount from either of those counties yet. So that number will increase by the end of September as well.
Any questions or thoughts?
Things are trending right.
I think
Yeah,
considering all what's going on this year, this is pretty good.
Right. I mean, when we had those preliminary conversations with Jamie and projections, I mean, there were conversations about percentages far lower than this. So it's very encouraging to see this, definitely.
Right. And you saw in your packets about our fund balance is very healthy.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing fine. Next year, I think we'll tell the tale. we might be having a really different conversation next September, but this is where we are right now. So take what we can get.
That's great.
Okay.
And then we'll probably, at the end for next board meeting in October, we'll probably do another one. Kathy, typically, what is the last date by which we receive any tax revenue?
We're receiving it through the end of the year
Okay.
with late payments. Typically, we see the bulk of it by October.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for that. At this point, I think we are ready to head to the exec session. All right. May I have a motion and a second to adjourn to executive session to discuss the minutes of meetings lawfully closed under the Open Meetings Act 5 ILCS 120-2C21, including semi-annual review of executive session minutes.
So moved. This is Eva Serrano.
Thank you.
I'll second that, please.
Thank
Dee
you.
Basili.
All right, Melinda, would you please call the roll?
Dee Basili,
Yes.
Jeff Butler,
Yes.
Joe Philippek,
Yes.
Melinda Riddick, yes. John Savage,
Yes.
Eva Serrano,
Yes.
Andrew Smith.
Yes. All right, we will leave this meeting and we will pick back up and that executive session Zoom email that was sent out.
Thank you.
All right, we're live.
All right, thank you. I need a motion and a second to adjourn executive session.
This is
So
Joe,
moved.
so moved.
Second, this is Eva.
Thank you. Melinda, please call the roll.
Dee Basili,
Yes.
Jeff Butler,
Yes.
Joe Philippek,
Yes.
Melinda Riddick, yes. John Savage,
Yes.
Eva Serrano,
Yes.
Andrew Smith.
Yes. All right, that concludes our executive session. Now I need a motion and an order to return to open session.
So moved. This is Jeff.
This is Dee Basili. Second.
Thank you. All right, Melinda, please call the roll.
Dee Basili,
Yes.
Jeff Butler,
Yes.
Joe Philippek,
Yes.
Melinda Riddick, yes. John Savage,
Yes.
Eva Serrano,
Yes.
Andrew Smith.
Yes. All right. May I have a motion and a second to release for public inspection parts of the executive session minutes for October 23rd, 2019 and July 22nd, 2020. The board has found that for reasons of personal privacy or protection of the public interest, the need for confidentiality still exists as to parts of those closed meeting minutes, and for all of the meetings of February 19th, 2020 and the June 24th, 2020 meetings, and as such will be kept confidential at this time. May I have a motion and a second?
So moved. Dee Basili.
Thank you.
I'll second. This is Eva Serrano.
Thank you. All right, Melinda, please call the roll.
Dee Basili,
Yes.
Jeff Butler,
Yes.
Joe Philippek,
Yes.
Melinda Riddick, yes. John Savage,
Yes.
Eva Serrano,
Yes.
Andrew Smith.
Yes. All right, there being no further business before the board, may I have a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting at 6:57?
This
Dee
is Joe, so
Basili.
moved.
All right, I'll second that then.
Thank you. All right, Melinda, for the last time, please call the roll.
Dee Basili,
Yes.
Jeff Butler,
Yes.
Joe Philippek,
Yes.
Melinda Riddick, Yes. John Savage. I'm not used to calling my. Sorry, John. I'm sorry, John.
Yes.
Eva Serrano,
Yes.
Andrew Smith.
Yes. All right, everybody. The meeting is adjourned.
Thank you all.
Yep.
Good night,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Have a good
Aye.
night.
Bye, everybody. Thank
Thanks so-
you.